Hello and welcome to another episode.
Chirp.
Crickets.
Yes, welcome to another episode of our deliciously fabulous Lume plotters.
Yes. And today we have something very, very, how do you say that?
Important.
Speculative.
Speculative, yes.
Speculative.
So we'll talk about the speculations, but before we get into the speculations, we're going to talk about what we're wearing.
Yes. So, okay. So you
I feel like you always go first. Go on.
All right. Okay, then. I'm wearing my Seiko 62 Mas whatever SPB 451 in blue with a blue strap now, and this looks just
very nice,
super cool.
Which strap is this? Hodinkee?
Yes.
Yeah, I can tell.
One of these Hodinkee.
Hodinkees look, they're generally they got a look
and
to them.
The blue is just matching perfectly, so it's super
right.
blue.
Which sometimes works, but sometimes doesn't work, right?
Yeah.
If it's too matchy, sometimes you're like, I don't like it.
Yes.
But I actually think we're wearing the same strap.
If it's just so to just shades off, and then sometimes it's good if it's off, and sometimes it's really bad.
It's horrible.
It's just like,
if it's one shade away, it could accent it, or it could just clash. Exactly. Which strap is this that you have? Is it the textured one? The goat skin?
It's not goat skin. It's textured. It's a normal
the pebbled leather.
Epsom.
Epsom,
Epsom things.
So I'm wearing the reason I put this watch on today is because I got a new strap for it yesterday. Then I reached out to the guy and I said, "Do you have any more of these?" And he sent me the mother load of Hodinkee straps. Once again, I do have a sneaky suspicion that these are not procured in the most ethical of manners, because I think this is, once again, these are Hodinkee employees or something, or they were working for the company who produced the straps or something along these lines.
Exactly.
Because the amount of straps this guy sent me, like pictures, he essentially had the whole collection, the whole Hodinkee collection, and I was in every color and every size, and I'm just.
I think in the end, before the bankruptcy, let's say it this way, before the sale, I think the Hodinkees went into a bit of a tailspin, right? They thought, let's just make money,
whatever we can.
And I think this strap, from the quality perspective, right? This strap that they sold for $130 full price, $130. I wouldn't rate it higher than $60. Retail
so I like the straps. I have
no
issues.
They're not
bad.
But if you compare
remember,
them to,
this was at the 125 was after they lowered their price, because it used to be 165.
But the older Hodinkee straps had a very, very different quality. This one is good and it's fine, but I wouldn't say it's like above $100 strap. You can. I had strap bandits. I think strap bandits. I bought in the US straps for like $40 if you buy two. It's $75 or something like that, right? $49 if you buy two, $75. And these are really good straps for the money, and they are similar.
There's a lot of similarities. So, for instance, you look at the D-Lug straps, and you could see a lot of similarities there as well.
Yes, but D-Lugs from a quality perspective is way above that. I feel that my D-Lug straps.
I felt that they were roughly the same.
No.
It depends on which ones. The leather ones, I thought they were roughly the same.
No, the D-Lux is much better. You see this on the clasp already, and the pin buckle and all of this.
Oh yeah, the clasp here sucks, but I think the Hodinkee's clasp, they want you to switch them out.
Yeah, but still, even the stitching, it's so uneven. It's just weird. You could argue that it's mine.
I'm looking.
Look at this. Look at mine here.
On the back. Yeah, the back. Who cares about the back? No
but still, that shows you how there's some that are double in the same hole.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
it's really like, I don't know who.
But the front looks good.
High quality.
The front looks good. Anyway, long story short.
Yeah. Anyhow, what I'm saying is they are okay for the money we paid. Yeah. And then?
Well, I made an offer to this guy.
Yeah.
I've picked out 9 straps, and I told him I would give him $30 a strap. So 1,000 dirhams and $270 exactly on the money for 9 straps. And they were, once again, you know, all the peak colors in 19 millimeter, because I bought all 19 millimeter because it seems to be the size that I'm using the most. But nonetheless, here I am on one of them.
Yeah.
This is a grayish, God bless, I hate Microsoft Teams. Everything is just always blurred out.
Yeah, you can switch this off if you want.
Yeah, I know, but whatever. I'm too lazy. So it's a taupe, grayish, brownish with a white
taupe
stitch.
Is a cool color, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is, and it just looks so good on the Reverso that I was thinking, I'm going to put this on. But the issue is I had some older straps from the older JPM era, and I didn't like them. I thought they were a little shitty as well. And JPM straps are supposed to be the top of the top of the top. And I thought the the stitching was crap. They were all over the place. It didn't look like a very good quality strap. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just not strap versed, but I just cannot stand OEM straps as well. So that becomes another issue.
Yeah, it's a challenge, right? It's a challenge. Sometimes these OEM straps are really, really good. Like for my example is the sailcloth strap for the Blancpain 50 Fathoms is the best sailcloth strap I've ever had.
Yeah, like the Omega NATO is the best NATO strap money can buy.
Yeah. So, and then there are some aftermarket straps that are so good that you think, you know, so supple, so soft, so nice. And that doesn't matter what the price is. Sometimes it just can be a very cheap one, but it's still so good and it feels so nice when you wear it. Yeah, you never know. You never know. You have to try.
Interesting. That's
but
all I can say.
We wanted to speculate. So,
yes, we want to speculate a little bit.
Rolex. It is all about Rolex. And Rolex will, Rolex and Tudor, right? And Rolex will swap all of their steel bracelets for leather straps now.
No.
It's the latest rumor. No, it's not.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought Hodinky straps.
This?
No.
What?
I'm just joking. They are changing because they bought so many Hodinky straps.
German accent, nobody can tell when you're joking. You're like, yes, this is a joke. How can you not hear my joke?
That is funny. Now laugh. If you don't laugh,
laugh.
Shoot you.
Damn it.
Yes.
Laugh. No. But seriously, we do want to speculate a little bit because there was a Rolex leakage. Some leakage happened, and some people are saying that it's real. Others are saying it's not real. But at the end of the day, I've done my due diligence, and I think that these are true Rolex leaks. And obviously, Watches and Wonders is coming up in 2 weeks. So the question is, are they real? Are they not? So I want to go through one by one and talk about.
But before you start that, I have to tell you that I will be in Botswana.
Yes, I'm going to be in Hungary. So
yeah, but you have at least internet. I will be in the wilderness, and of course, if I'm on the phone and checking all my, even if I had internet, which might be possible, you never know. Now Starlink, you know, even camps have sometimes internet now, but we have some mobile camps. Who knows? Maybe we have, maybe we don't. But I will be super excited about what's going to happen. But if I check my phone during this time in the middle of Africa, I think I will probably be the dead man as well, because my wife won't be happy. So I have to.
No, we will cover everything that came out once we come back.
Yeah.
From our respective vacations.
Yeah, and I still have to think about my Okavango Delta.
Yeah, there's no way I'm going to make a podcast. Not going to happen.
Oh, no, podcasts are dead. That I don't
even
don't
check it. I'll check. I'll see what's up, but that's going to be roughly it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, all right, let's go on about. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to hear from us during Watches and Wonders, but you will hear from us kind of a week after.
Yeah, no live reactions.
Yeah, unfortunately, for the first time in 3 years, no live reactions.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about these Rolex leaks.
Okay.
They are very, very probable, I would want to say, but there are some that is just so nail on the head that it's not even possible that it's not going to happen. So let's start very easy.
Okay.
And there is a solid yellow gold Daytona. I will send you the link, Ralph, because I don't think I sent you this link.
Yeah,
So
there's
I'm
one
going
on Everest.
I'm on
Advanced.
Watch Maestro with the pictures.
Okay.
I will send you the link. So this is, ladies and gentlemen, the Watch Maestro website has a Rolex 2025 leaks. Leaked watches 2025. So check that out. But first is the Tiffany Daytona in solid yellow gold on Oyster Flex. The reason this is not improbable is because Tudor has just done the same thing with their chrono, right? The Black Bay chrono. They put it on a quote unquote, what do they call it? I don't remember what they called
Flamingo blue.
Flamingo. No, Flamingo blue was pink. No?
Yeah, that's true. No,
yeah, Flamingo blue was the pink. I don't know what they call the pink one.
No, the Flamingo blue was not pink, because that's the point. It was Flamingo blue. Because they said this is
the water
this is
that they
the
stand
blue
in.
that
Yes.
the flamingo
So that
would
was
stand
you're right. Okay, so Flamingo blue Daytona. That's number one. Obviously, this is very clear to happen, especially given the last 2 years they've given us fancy Rolexes.
Since I haven't seen it before, let me describe this to the viewers. It's a yellow gold Rolex Daytona with a black ceramic bezel and an black Oyster Flex strap with a black
subdials
and a flamingo blue, but it looks a bit like it's a sunburst. I'm not so sure if it's a flat
it does look
color, right?
sunburst.
It looks like a sunburst, very light sky blue. The first impression, I was like, "Ooh, that looks weird." Now that I've looked at it for like a minute, I'm thinking, yeah, it could work. It could work.
It's weird. It
could work. It is weird on the first glance, but I think, could work.
So,
okay. So do you think this is because Tudor tried it? It's a hit. You think they're doing it?
I think so. Yeah.
But on the other hand, I mean, Rolex did it first, right? They had their Tiffany dial watches, right, and the celebration dials and all of the stuff. So maybe they do. Who knows?
I'm just looking at the rest of this article, and it's not complete, so I'm going to try to find a better article. Excuse me.
Okay.
But let's go on to number two. Number two, they had a green dial Sky-Dweller in yellow gold.
Yes, and with a Jubilee bracelet. And it's, I must say, that is like a John Mayer Daytona.
Exactly.
It looks super cool. I like it.
So I'm going to, instead of looking at this, I'm just going to go to the ID guy's video. He had a very good video about this, by the way. So he goes through all of the leaks specifically, and he talks about them. So, okay. Green dial, going from green dial to next.
Check this one link that I had sent you there in the chat as well. If you go down a bit, what's in the leak? So there's a couple of things. I don't know if you want to talk about it, about this quick exchange bracelet patent that Rolex has filed.
I did not know this.
Because there's a couple of patents. I mean, Rolex files lots of patents. It's some.
Why would
they
have a quick exchange link on
the bracelets?
Oh, because if they do because they're going to do the integrated bracelet.
Land-Dweller. Yeah, maybe that's one of the things.
But we haven't even gotten to the Land-Dweller.
Oh, so,
God bless.
okay.
You're always 6 steps ahead. I'm still on green dials. You're 19 miles down the road.
Oh, still okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. So patience.
I don't know
patience.
what your
wax on, wax off.
Okay.
All right. Green dial, Sky-Dweller, cool.
Yeah, super cool.
As you said, it looks like a John Mayer Daytona, but in a.
It's nice.
Yeah. Then the other green dial that we saw, which of course the GMT Master is having an anniversary as well. I think it's 70th year or something like this.
Okay.
In addition, the Sky-Dweller is having an anniversary. In addition, I think the Daytona is also having an anniversary. So lots of anniversaries this year.
Wow.
So it's likely that these are the watches that will come. But of course, they're just special versions. And for the GMT Master, it seems to us that you will likely see a Sprite, which everyone already hated, but this time with a green dial.
Let's talk about the Sprite a bit. I mean, it was, of course, the hottest hype watch in the world for a while in the GMT
for a
Master
very
line.
short while. Yeah.
But relatively short. I mean, the prices have dropped very quickly, very fast, and it's nearly, I think it's what, $1,000 above retail, a bit more. What's the retail on it?
Yes.
50, 53 or something, or 43? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but it's come down quite a lot.
Do you see the picture that I shared on this one? There's one thing that people are saying.
I don't see
one thing that will differentiate this.
Where are you sharing?
I sent you the Watch Maestro link for the 15th time.
Yeah, but
your lack of
I am on the Watch Maestro link.
So look at the picture of the Sprite.
Yeah.
There's 3 pictures. That's it. You zoom in. Now, actually, that's the one I'm talking about now. But in the real leak, there was one key difference here. If you zoom in here,
you can see that it's a colored one.
What?
In this Watch Maestro link, that looks like this has black in the background. In the text.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the real picture.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
What they were saying is, it seemed like in the real leak picture, there was a silver GMT hand and not a green GMT hand. Now, what would that signify to you if it was silver?
If it was silver or white?
If it was silver,
silver.
What would that mean?
Then it's probably a white gold watch.
Exactly. If it was green, then that would mean it was stainless steel, right? Because all of the precious metals have the metal color for the GMT. So it seemed in some cases.
Yeah, that would fit right into Rolex's, even if they create a hype watch, right?
Yes.
Another hype watch. Then it must be gold.
Yeah.
Because they want to make more money.
Exactly. So that would be interesting. So that's number 1. So it could be in the non, this Watchmeister seems to have kind of colored some stuff in here, but it seems like the other one. So it is once again the 70th anniversary of the GMT. It's going to be something precious metal, my guess. And I wouldn't be surprised if they made it an open case back as well, like they did with the Daytona last year.
Possible. If the GMT movement is nice enough, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which I don't know.
I don't know. Who knows? But it wouldn't be bad. Yeah. Now, one more GMT at the same time that was leaked.
Or they make a like the Rolex Daytona movements that they put in the Platinum Daytonas, right? Or in the the Le Mans Daytonas.
Yeah,
that has a special rotor as well, because it's they don't put a gold rotor in the normal watches.
Exactly.
Only
exactly.
in the ones
so
with
it's on
an
display.
open case back. Yeah.
So this could be. Now, there's one more GMT that was leaked. It was a yellow gold one. It was a root beer configuration with a tiger eye stone dial.
Yeah. I mean, stone dials, I have a feeling they're coming back.
I big time.
Because they need to do something. And I think that's something of just setting trends again. I mean, look, all the micro brands have now stone dials everywhere, right? So that already is, you've seen this in a lot of different watches. And I think for Rolex to say like, hey, listen, we started this stuff 100 years ago or 50 years ago, whatever, right? With the stone dials and all of these things. They have experimented so much with different materials over their lifetime of Rolex. It would make sense to just bring back certain things. I would love to see that, actually.
All right. Now, and this is kind of all little things like, yeah, okay, fine, it happened, it leaked, okay, great. But the big leak was an entirely new model line called the Land-Dweller, which, once again, goes along with Rolex's Sea Dweller, Sky Dweller, Space Dweller, so forth, whatever Dweller that they've had. So the naming is correct. Now,
the naming is, I mean, we know, as you said before, that there is patent filing for the name. So they patented.
So I didn't say this before. You're
right.
confusing our private
didn't say that
conversations and
right.
leaking my things that I told you in confidence.
In confidence.
Yes.
Okay.
No, but yes. So essentially, because immediately Ralph was like, no, there's no Land-Dweller. It's going to be terrible.
I am thinking that they just patent certain names so that nobody else steals them.
So once again, if you guys go and watch the YouTube video for the ID guy, he will talk about all this, but especially the fact that it was patented 12 months ago. That to me is too recent. If they would have patented this 10 years ago, I would have said, yeah, they're just covering their own ass. But I think in this case, they are really coming out with a Land-Dweller. Now, what is a Land-Dweller? No one knows, right? So the question is, we know that Rolex has patented the name Land-Dweller. That is fact, right? Now,
okay, yeah.
The leak showed an oyster quartz integrated bracelet watch. And that is, of course, another thing that we know that there's a whole heap of integrated
quartz style, right?
Yes,
yeah.
style.
Yeah.
Oyster quartz style case with integrated Jubilee bracelet on these pictures. So once again, they have all of these integrated sports watches. So the fact that Rolex is that kind of a few years behind the trend is not surprising because they're slow, but them releasing an integrated sports watch, integrated bracelet sports watch is not unthinkable, right?
Yeah.
So this one
for the listeners, let's explain what I'm seeing quickly. So it's a oyster quartz style with a Jubilee bracelet. So you have 5 links, right? Mm-hmm. Brushed outer links, and then the 3 inner links,
polished inner,
polished,
tapering.
But it does look like it's not round. It's squarish, right? So it's not like the normal Jubilee bracelets, which are all very round. This is square, it's flat. We see a watch with a fluted bezel with a 9/6, like a Explorer style. But
there's a date.
Yeah, there's
so the date is cut out, which is weird.
And the Cyclops. And we see this, the entire dials, all of their dials have this, how do you say that? The fluted dial, right? With this.
Yes, exactly.
It was called also fluted dial.
Honeycomb dial.
Yeah, with a honeycomb. So for me, that could be another hint, because what we've seen with the last Tissot watch, right? The solar quartz movement.
Yes.
Also a honeycomb structure under the dial.
Yes,
but it's actually under the sapphire crystal in this Tissot version. But this one could be an indication that we might have their solar cells.
So this is exactly what dial. ID guy said as well. Is it looks like it could be solar cell. If we zoom in, I don't think it's going to be, unless because it says oyster perpetual, right? So if it says oyster perpetual just means that it keeps going, right?
Yes.
So, okay, two things are popping out at me here. One is, if it's oyster perpetual, it's not going to be quartz. However, if it's solar powered quartz, it would be perpetual because there's no battery to change. So it could be perpetual under their nameology. Oyster being that it's an oyster case, right? Underneath, we see officially certified superlative chronometer.
Superlative chronometer officially certified, yeah.
You can have chronometers for quartz. Here's the problem that I'm seeing right off.
Breitling, for example, has a chronometer certification for all their quartz movements as well.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
They do that.
So it's not unheard of. It could work. Now, here's 2 things that are strange to me. One, this would be an oyster perpetual date. It would have to say date. There are some cases where it doesn't say the word date. For instance, on date just, it will say oyster perpetual.
Say that.
I think it does. Does it not?
No. It just says Skydweller.
Let me take a look at a Skydweller dial real fast.
Does it say date on it? I don't think so.
All the other ones do. Skydweller, oyster. So Skydweller dial. I don't know. Let's just take a look at something that's zoomed in, because the Skydweller moves all of the writing down. So that's one of the issues with that.
So wait a second. The Submariner says oyster perpetual date?
If it's a date one, yes. If it's not a date one, like the one I had, it would say no. It would just say oyster perpetual. So it says Oyster Perpetual, you're right.
It doesn't say date.
On what? No, it does not say date. So you are
No.
correct. It just says Oyster Perpetual, which then means this.
So on the Submariner, you're right. It says Oyster Perpetual date, but on the Skydweller, it doesn't. No.
It does not. You're right. You're right. Yeah. So that's the first time I've looked at that. So this could then be correct. So the Dwellers wouldn't have dates. So, okay. So it's sticking to the Skydweller. Now, it could be quartz. And the reason I'm thinking it's quartz is look at this weird rehot. It's got a curved rehot like a Tudor Pelagos that comes up and meets the dial.
Yes.
Which is not like any other Rolex. And this is the funny thing here.
The rehot is usually is printed, and then you have a 90-degree angle to the rehot. The rehot is
yeah, exactly.
But this is really that's very different. You're right.
Different. So now this is what ID Guy's conclusion was. Because remember, ID Guy, he designs watches, right? He's made watches. He does all these renderings. And he said, this is too complicated to make for a rendering. You would never say, or you would never kind of fake a render and say that it's going to have a different rehot. It's too convoluted.
It does look too amateurish.
Yeah, exactly. So
because
you
it
wouldn't
looks
have done this.
It's a mishmash of so many different things that you would say like either somebody was really just high on drugs and
or this is real. And this is exactly what he said. He said this is too weird for somebody to have made up.
Yes.
There's too many things going on. If you were to kind of leak something on purpose, you would have kept the original rehot. But remember the what's it called? The Cubitus leak?
Yes.
And everyone said it's too ugly to be fake.
Yes, and it's too the quality of the render is too poor and all of the stuff.
Yeah.
So many people said
this is the same exact situation here we are again.
So I have a feeling if it's really a quartz watch, which I wouldn't mind at all. I think that's a cool idea. I remember the chat that I had with the lady from Tag Heuer, the Carol Kasapi, right? Forestier Kasapi. She said basically, because we want to give a 10-year warranty or 5-year warranty and 10-year service intervals, same as they did with Cartier, right? So with Tag Heuer, when they said, we want to give 5-year warranty and 10-year service intervals, the only way we can do this with quartz is that you don't have to change the battery every 3 years.
Which you can only do if it's solar.
Yes. And she said, that's why we took solar. And that's why we had this. And that this might be the way why Rolex has now maybe a solar quartz movement, because then also they can say 10 years service
and Oyster Perpetual.
Like they do with all of the other watches. 10 years, around 10 year service interval, right?
But once again, is there any watch that isn't an Oyster Perpetual in the lineup?
Current
is
lineup
the
of
1908 an Oyster Perpetual?
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
Because that would be the only one that could potentially not be. Because I know the Cellini was not an Oyster Perpetual, right?
I think
Cellini did not have an Oyster case. No, it's still not. It's still not Oyster Perpetual, if I'm not mistaken.
But it's just perpetual, right? So even the air.
No, it's superlative chronometer. That's it. It is perpetual, of course.
Because the line is called perpetual, right? From the
yeah. Correct. Yes, but it's a perpetual because there's a perpetual, winding rotor in it. But it's not an Oyster case. But this one is Oyster Perpetual, but that could go. And then here's the other kicker. They have a picture of 3 of these in different sizes. So it looks like there's going to be a 36, a 40, and maybe like a 31. And one of them has an ice blue dial. So one's in the silver dial, silver watch, which looks stainless steel with a white gold fluted bezel. The other one is pink gold with a champagne dial, which looks like a lady's one. It looks very small. And then there's a third one, which is ice blue dial. I think it looks ice blue, right? You're the non-colorblind one. And with silver metal, right? Which then points to, is there going to be a platinum quartz watch in the Rolex lineup? That would be insanity.
Say that again. What would
If
be
there
inside here?
was a
Yeah.
platinum quartz watch in the Rolex lineup, that would be crazy.
It would be crazy.
Yeah.
But not too crazy. Because I'm just looking at the back, and I just sent you a picture. On the back of the platinum version of the 1908, and it says perpetual on the rotor.
Because
says-
it's not it's a perpetual
Yeah,
because
yeah, I
the
know.
rotor is perpetual, but it's not
but it
an
doesn't
oyster.
say that anywhere else. It just says it on the back of the watch. That's what I'm saying, because it's a see-through case back, right?
So chronometer, or what is it? Chronometer
perpetual. It says. That's interesting. So does it put it there? So a platinum with light blue would of course say mean it should be platinum, right? It's not Tiffany. It's really this
It's
light,
ice
this light
blue.
ice blue stuff.
So it would be interesting. So let's see what happens.
And we saw in the of the 3 images that were leaked of this watch, they're all next to each other. In the middle one is a rose gold version, which also, I don't know if that's the graininess. Does it look like it has diamonds on the bezel?
It does something like that. It looked like a lady's.
It looks smaller as well, if I'm not mistaken, from what I can see. It looks tiny bit smaller. It's like a 40 and a 36 or something. Did you see that?
Could be. It could be. Yeah.
It does look smaller. So we have
definitely smaller. I just don't know how much smaller.
So
that's the question.
That's the next question. Why would somebody just make these different sizes as well, right? I mean, that's a lot of effort. You're right. And is it normal for Rolex to have a number 1 in the date window when they are leaking? I mean, when they're doing images.
When they're leaking their watches.
When they're leaking. Maybe they do.
I don't know. What do they usually put?
I don't know. I think this is the
question.
It
looks like all the other ones are 28s.
Yeah. So
why are they 28s?
Because
what is that significance?
On their website, on the Rolex website, if you go through the watches, when you click on choose watches, all the dates are on 28. All of them. If it has a date, it is on 28.
There's some significance to this.
Ooh. I don't know.
So the 28, the only thing I can think of is the last day of February 3 times out of 4, right? Right. I mean, if my math is correct here, then 28 days in February.
In general.
In general. But why they chose 28, who knows? But
because it fills out the case, the date window pretty nicely. Maybe.
So, but what this first thing, is it going to be like kind of signifying a new start, a new beginning? Am I thinking too much into this?
Maybe it could indicate that it's not a legit leak, or it could indicate that they actually wanted to say, like, here, the first time ever a solar quartz movement in a Rolex. Who knows? Maybe.
This is what I'm thinking, and I'm looking at these leaks, the Land-Dweller, and they're all on one. Every single picture. Land-Dweller. Now, the other issue with this, by the way, is of course the name. Land-Dweller. Generally, a dweller signifies that it's a more evolved version of something else, right? So a sea dweller is a more evolved submariner. A sky dweller is a more evolved version of the GMT. So the question is, wouldn't a land dweller be a more evolved version of their land watch, which would then be the Explorer?
Yes, that would explain why there is the 9 and the 6 in the with the loomed numbers.
Yes, but this is not an evolved version of anything. This is a date just with an oyster quartz movement.
Yeah.
And I would say if it was a black dial, no fluted bezel like the Explorer bezel, then it had no date and 369, so an Explorer with an oyster quartz case, I think that would make sense.
I just have a feeling that we are being trolled. We are being trolled.
Well, very, very much could be. You guys are going to find out before we do, but nonetheless, it's very interesting. It is. Because once again, it's just too many things. As you said, the Land-Dweller name being trademarked a year ago. They have a new patent 2 years ago about trying, and it looks very much like a way to remove an integrated bracelet. Well, they don't have any
Yeah.
integrated bracelets.
And
So-
it's funny enough, they're saying quick release, but it's not really quick release. It still needs a screwdriver and some pins or something. So it's not entirely toolless, for example. Toolless like a overseas or the whole Cartier movements and all of his bracelets and stuff, or IWC, who all do it toolless now. But this is not toolless. It is using a screwdriver and a bracelet tool. You need still some tools to remove it, but it is patented way. Why would they patent that? I just understand. Maybe because then they can tell other people not to use it, right? It's with Cartier as well, because they said if you copy our quick release system because we have a patent on it, then you are in violation. So maybe that's a reason to just don't allow anybody else to use the same system to offer straps for them. Who knows? Because they don't like this. For whatever reason, Rolex doesn't like you to change the straps.
Clearly, because they eat up your straps every single time.
Yeah, they make the deliberately. That's did we explain this? They make.
I just saw this. I don't know if I heard this from somewhere else, but Rolex specifically, I've learned this the hard way, because when I first got my sub, I was trying to put leather straps on it, just for fun, and it would chew up the leather strap because they would make the case explicitly just sharp, and then they'd make the lug holes so close to the
yes, correct, to the case.
To the case that you couldn't put anything, right? Unless you have a curved spring bar.
Yeah, and that is very weird. So either you have, and it is like they're doing this deliberately so you don't put anything else on it, which is weird. And the other thing is leaving it unfinished in this area, right? Like they do, which is also a bit like, come on, right?
But it's unfinished for the reason that it is, when the bracelet's on, it's finished. The bracelet is the finishing touch, right?
Yes,
but I did try to put my Tudor rubber strap, whatever you want to call it, Oyster Flex, on my sub.
Yeah.
And I have to say, the lug holes are so far off between Tudor and Rolex. It's ridiculous. The Rolex ones are so far more inset to the case than the Tudor that it's not even a joke. It wouldn't even work. So they do this on purpose. Yeah. And then on my Explorer, they left a friggin' hole in it too. Remember this?
Yeah.
If you take off the bracelet, there's a hole in the case for no reason, just to look like crap. So if you put it on a NATO, it looks so ugly.
Yes, I think in the Explorer, they have this indent, right? It's an indent.
But why?
So yeah, I mean, you could argue that then, of course, the end links are just more stable if you put them in there. Or maybe they had the idea of putting other Oyster Flex eventually on it that then can attach there, so you have a bit more stability. Who knows, the end links? Or they just make it out of spite so that
the end links don't have anything that stick out. There's nothing that sticks out in the end links. This is just a hole in the case.
Yeah. I mean, the hole in the case could be because they wanted to make something that needs a bit of stability or something.
And then they didn't.
Or maybe
nonetheless, it looks stupid.
Yeah,
it looks stupid. Okay, so now the other thing that I wanted to mention is I did see another.
No, just one question to this Land-Dweller Oyster Quartz thing. What do you think would be the impact? I mean, besides that, of course, all hell.
I think it's the Cubitus. I think it's the Cubitus for Rolex, in the sense that they were saying this is our new entry level. And I think that's what they're shooting for. Rolex is sold out for everything that you could possibly get. They want to bring a new line that is their quote unquote entry level. And I think this could be it.
No, not so sure. I think that the Oyster Perpetual is still priced very fair.
It is very. So what, they're going to make it more expensive, or they're going to make you choose?
No. I think because also there you don't have a fluted bezel. This is a fluted bezel. Fluted bezel means it's gold. Gold must be more expensive. So
but the movement.
Yeah, but still, even with the movement, I think still that this watch will be priced above, because it has a date. It's not an Oyster Perpetual, just a normal OP. 41 or
so 36. It's going to be the same price as a Datejust? Then why would anybody buy it?
Because it's an integrated bracelet.
Quartz.
Yeah, but doesn't matter. Most of the people who buy Rolexes don't care.
It could be. It could be. I don't know.
Because
I don't
we
know.
care, because we think like, oh, Rolex must be a mechanical movement. They have done their oyster quartz. The oyster quartz are still very, very sought after. A lot of people collect them, right? Not only because they're integrated bracelets, but also because it's a cool quartz movement. It was a very highly developed one at the time. And I have a feeling if they do something like this, there is a market for people who would love this watch. I'm sure if Rolex does a
I think it
solar
would
quartz movement,
succeed for sure. Yeah.
there's competition, right? For example, the best solar quartz movement you can buy today is in the Chronomaster Citizen. The Chronomaster Echo Drive. It is about $4,000 or $5,000 the watch, and it has a solar drive movement with a accuracy of plus minus 1 second a year.
And keep in mind, guys, that
and
Citizen
that-
is the one that supplies these movements to Cartier, to Tag Heuer, and all of
Yes.
these other companies. So they
Correct.
essentially have the
So-
IP on solar quartz.
Yeah, solar quartz is really, it's their thing. And so the whole Echo Drive thing, and with their part of the Citizen group is La Joux-Perret, right? Which is also Frédéric Constant, and all of these companies are part of the Citizen group. And so with La Joux-Perret, they make these movements, this solar quartz movement for Cartier, so that the movement is Swiss made, right?
Yes,
With the IP and the help of Citizen, obviously from a technological perspective.
with the hand
But
holding.
obviously, they make them in Switzerland. But I think if Rolex would have done that, I mean, obviously they can do it, right? I mean, they have
No, they're going to make their
enough
own.
money.
100%. They're going to make their own.
Yeah. I'm sure
They would
do.
not rely on anyone else.
Not anymore. I mean, they have bought everybody they needed except the hand maker, I think, and it's they would make it themselves, and they have the money and they can do the research. So it would be their own movement, but I mean that's such a shift to bring a quartz movement back into the system. But I think it would be fine. And it's something that Rolex doesn't care for conventions and for what people think and what people, they just think like, okay, that is great. Audemars Piguet has quartz movements in their Royal Oak, and nobody screams about it.
This begs the question: what if
AP
we missed?
does quartz movements in their Royal Oak?
But
Full
no,
stop.
and Patek also does quartz movements
Yeah, still.
in their lady sizes Nautiluses. Not a lie.
Yeah. That's
So,
true. Yeah, you're right.
Now here's the question: what if we missed the ball entirely, and all of these were small and smaller ladies' watches?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like we're looking at it like, oh, it's a 40 millimeter and a 36 and a 31 or something, right? What if this was like a 31, a 34, and a 28?
Yeah.
But obviously the picture just makes it look bigger. I don't know. Who knows? I think they wouldn't have done it. Nah. I don't think so,
because
because
36, 34.
36, 34, 31, maybe. Could be.
Possible. Yeah.
Because if you look at the dial spacing on a 28, it's tiny. You can tell everything is shrunken down. In a 31, you can no longer tell. So when I see a picture of a 31,
but you see the one in the middle, in the leak, the rose gold version, doesn't have the numbers.
Well, I did not see this. No.
Zoom in a bit, and you see the rose.
Super zoom.
The German says you should zoom.
Dweller.
Yeah, and now if you look at that, you see that they're only indices.
You have to look sideways because the whole picture.
Yes.
Sideways.
Yes, I'm looking at this sideways the entire time.
But that's another thing, by the way. Like if it's a leak, it would be the right. You not leak it sideways. Somebody would have turned it.
But this is, you see that there are indices, so that confirms our suspicion. This is a smaller watch. It has probably diamonds in the bezel. And it's different because obviously it doesn't have the numbers. And again,
hold on, I'm still looking. I'm looking. Okay, here we go. I zoom.
And you were right with this thing that it's too elaborate. If we now have even different dials and different sizes and different things, it seems to me like yes, it is a lot.
Yeah, those by the way, sir, dear sir, those are not batons. Those are freaking baguette diamonds.
That's possible. I cannot see that.
That's not possible. I can see it 100%. I
Well,
will.
then you have a better picture.
I have a better picture, it seems. But those
Send
are
it to me, send
baguette
it to me.
diamonds.
Yeah.
I will send you this picture right now. So the 6 and 9 are baguettes, and
Yeah.
the rest are batons.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
I will, once again, guys, this is the picture that is a fairly decent picture. So I will use this to as the Instagram thing,
Yeah.
whatever you call it, the Instagram image. But and Ralphino, I'm sending this to you on iMessage.
Oh, why that?
Because I hate Microsoft. I wouldn't send an extra megabit of information through their servers if I need not. So you can zoom in on that one and see what people are thinking. Very interesting. I mean, I think this is truly revolutionary.
So yeah, I think
you see the baguettes.
Well, yeah, it's as good as the quick picture I had here. So I thought it was better, but
no, but you could see that it's a slightly different color. It looks clear as opposed to the other ones, which looked darker.
Yeah. So if everything is correct and this is really a Land-Dweller and it's quartz, I mean, we could still be wrong. It could not be quartz, right? But it's
but look at the root beer. Look at the tiger's eye. You can clearly see the pattern on the dial.
Yeah.
Once again, zoom in on the Sprite. You see that it has a silver GMT hand.
Yeah.
I mean, once again, if you are faking this, are you changing the color of the GMT hand from the regular Sprite?
Yeah, maybe not. So who knows?
Are you putting a tiger's eye dial onto a GMT root beer? I don't think so.
Yeah. Anyhow, so when is exactly the release?
Who knows?
Do we know this?
Next week sometime, no?
Don't they say this on their website usually?
Watches and Wonders 2025.
Sometimes Rolex even puts this
April
on Instagram.
1. Which is also a fantastic time for them to do a bunch of April Fools.
Yes,
we got you good.
And that could be the first, why there is the number one in the date window, right? Of the Land-Dweller.
What if it was an April Fool's joke to begin with?
Yes, I would have done that.
Imagine this. You get everybody hyped up, you release something, and then the second day you say, nah, we're just messing with you. That would be awesome. When the Kermit was released, I thought it was an April Fool's joke. When Oris did the Kermit, it was also on April 1st. And I was like, this is not true. Like, this has got to be a joke. And it wasn't. It was true. But that could be that. Maybe you're onto something here, Ralph. What if Rolex designed these, leaked them themselves as an April Fool's joke, and then put one on the date window? I don't think Rolex has this kind of humor.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Now, all right. The last thing I want to talk about with these potential new watches is I saw a prediction, which I thought was super cool. Somebody predicted that Tudor was going to release a Black Bay 54 in a pink and a Tiffany blue dial, which I thought about. And obviously these are the same colors, the flamingo blue and the pink from the Tudor Chrono. And I thought if you were going to take these colors and put them on something else, it would very well go on the Black Bay 54 because that's essentially their unisex size, right? So I think a lot of people would go absolutely crazy for these two
colors. The ladies
colors.
will want this Tiffany and the pink, of course. They now have a pink watch and no lady can wear it because the Chrono is a chunk. It's a
Exactly.
chunker. Yeah.
So, but this one would work. So I will post a picture of this as well. This is from Wrist Enthusiast.
A Black Bay 54 in this blue and pink would be amazing.
It would be really cool.
I would agree
so
with that. Yeah.
Not sure if it will actually happen or not, but I think it is kind of.
Because you know what? I think the Tudor had a bit of a lull, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
In if the numbers are right that we saw, that they have only sold like 160, 170,000 watches last year, according to the Morgan Stanley report, that would be insane. This is like nearly half of what they had sold the year before. They were always quoted about 300,000 watches, 350,000, something like that, right? And either Morgan Stanley was so off with the production numbers before, which is also possible, right? That they have just corrected it, because there was Omega who said something about, the Omega CEO came out and said, the Morgan Stanley report is completely rubbish. It's completely off, especially with Breguet and Blancpain and all of this stuff. It's like 50% off or something like that, right? So they said that it's the numbers, the values, everything is rubbish. So they have corrected certain things. That's also why, for example, Breguet has now very, very low production suddenly. But of course, they didn't correct the historic numbers, the historic estimates, right?
Yes.
So maybe that's something where they actually figured out, like, okay, maybe we were wrong previously. And that's why Tudor has so low production comparatively, because maybe they were completely overestimating their output before. So who knows? I mean, this is all obviously total speculation, but it could be one of these reasons.
Who knows?
But then I think Tudor has increased the prices quite a lot, right? So we have seen this over the years.
Hugely. I mean, Tudor used to be, living in the kind of $3,000 mark, and now they're living in 5, 6.
Yeah.
Is their average
5 to 7, basically?
I remember distinctly when I first was looking at the Black Bay. The Black Bay line was around, I think, after, because I was in Germany or wherever, and they were doing the VAT back. You could get for €2,000 a Tudor Black Bay from the boutique.
Yeah. So now they start at the Black Bay 41 with a rubber strap, just a normal monochrome, right? €4,440. I just looked at
so
the
this
euro
is more
prices.
than so guessing 25% was taken off in negotiations of my €2,000 price. This was the black with the smiley face, the Etta caliber, with the blue bezel.
And the Black Bay 54, which is like the smallest in size of the
but the
sporty
best
Black Bay,
in everything else.
On the rubber strap, 3,900.
Yeah, so this is going to be €4,000 very soon.
And I remember the Black Bay GMT. I mean, that was also €3,500 watch, right? The Black Bay GMT.
The Black Bay Pro.
The
original Black Bay GMT.
Sorry,
Yeah.
That was a €3,500 watch or something. And I bought it for 15,000 dirhams or less, 14,000 dirhams, I think.
Well, how many people do you see talking about Tudor these days?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Well, I see a lot, because a lot of people are getting the pink and the flamingo blue and these kind of things. Tudor is still being talked about, but it's become a normal brand. It's not anymore the super hype brand. It's a normal brand. But I do feel that they have enough thunder if they wanted to. But look at their offering. It's so broad now. It's like Omega. They have so many different watches, right? It's incredible, actually, if you think about it, how many watches they have in such a short time. In 10 years since they restarted, 2015, or honestly
12.
restarted. Yeah. Okay.
No, 2010 was when they restarted. 2012 was the release of the Black Bay.
Yeah. So, and then 2015 was the first in-house, right? I think.
First in-house movement. Yeah. So 12 was Davide Chirato, if I'm not mistaken. Black Bay and Pelagos, both in the same year, which is nuts.
Yeah.
To think of two such insanely cool watches released at the same time. And the fact is, the world didn't have those before. So think about that. Like, these didn't exist. There was nothing, right? Tudor had like the North flag, and North flag came out in 2015, I think. And that was a little bit later. Yeah. But nonetheless, I mean, they had weird, the Easy Rider or whatever they called it, the Black Rider or Night Rider or whatever the hell it was. Remember this one? Yes. Ugly as sin watches.
Though actually, the Ducati ones, right? These were the ones,
the Ducati
ceramic.
Ones.
But I mean, think about this: what you got for that price at the time.
Yes.
€3,000, and you would get a ceramic case, right? Chronograph. I mean, that is really pretty amazing. A full ceramic case.
Yes, and not to mention the heritage chronos that they used to have. Remember the blue and the gray?
Yes.
Those were out before the Black Bay, I think,
super
right?
Super cool. That were also like very retro, very nice ones.
Like cheap as chips, right? And you're getting a chronograph. I don't know what.
And they were 2,000
€2,000
and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know what movement was in it, but it was super cool.
I can tell you what movement was in there. It was a ETA with a chronograph module, I think. It was the 2892 with a module, I think.
Yeah, no, it was a cool watch. I remember looking at it. It was too big for me, but it was, if they made a smaller one, it's a super cool watch. And I don't like the fact that they keep mishmashing their Black Bay range and their chronos now, right? I think they need to have a separate line for their chronos. If they're going to do this, they're going to do it properly. Stop putting Black Bay on the name. This is why I think it's so important for them to have the new release of the big block. The big block that they made their own movement for, right? With the vertical chronograph, what's it called? The vertical chronograph layout.
Clutch? Vertical clutch?
No, clutch, the layout itself. It's up, down, left.
3 subdials and a date, rather than 2 and a date and 6.
Exactly. Yeah. So the triple but vertical layout of the subdials, I think, is
this is the unique. New MT9XX movement, which is
they made and didn't do anything
with. Exactly. They made the prototype for the Only Watch 2023. And still since today, they have not released it.
Maybe next week we will see this. Maybe. Who knows?
This is which was already last year, my prediction. That
because you don't develop.
Comes out.
But if the movement was not ready, then that makes sense, right?
Yes. And with movement developments, we saw that with the Black Bay GMT. The GMT movement had issues. We see this with the new Rolex movements, the 32XX versions. They had issues in the beginning. That it's not easy to create new movements.
It's not easy tough. Being cheesy. Exactly.
But anyhow, so the point is there that it's especially not if you produce them in such numbers that they do. So I think this is what we will see. We will see the new chrono, and that's why we saw that's why we saw the pink and the flamingo blue, because you can sell everything with these colors, right? So
exactly. All the movements, the cases, the bracelets, boom, done.
If you have them lying around, woof, there they go, right?
Yep.
And they will still sell even if the new models come out, because you don't get the colors in the new models.
Yeah, they'll give you a monochrome black or maybe something with a gilt dial, and that's going to be it.
Who knows? Yeah, it will be 1 or 2 color variations in the beginning.
Exactly. Anyway, alrighty. Okay. I think that sums up today's episode. We will, let us know what you think. Are these going to come out? Are they not going to come out? Wow. What's going to happen?
I'm very, very pumped up. I'm very curious. It's less than 2 weeks, and I'm really curious to see. Yeah. Let us know what you think, and we hear you when we hear you. Bye.
Bye-bye.